Right, the head of NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, his name is Jim Hansen. He's appealing to President-elect Obama for a tax on carbon emissions. That's right, the more carbon dioxide you create and release into the air, the more you pay. Good idea? Let's ask Pat Michaels, Senior Fellow in Environmental Studies and the author of the upcoming book, Climate of Extremes, Global Warming Science They Didn't Want You to Know. Patrick Michaels, welcome to the program. Good to see you with us.
Hi, how are you?
All right, now this guy, James Hansen, he's no slouch. He's got a first-class mind, and he's the head of the Goddard Center. He says, tax carbon, reduce carbon emissions, or we face climatic disaster. You're not buying the disaster part of it, I take it.
No, global warming's a real thing, but Hansen is way, way out on a limb. He thinks that sea level could rise 20 feet in the next 100 years because Greenland will suddenly shed most of its ice. It's very hard to find a scientist that agrees with that. In fact, global warming has been quite modest. It's been at the low end of the range of projections made by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and there's good reason to think it's going to stay there.
Okay. Now,
by the way, this...
Yeah, no, let me ask. I mean, look, if we get a carbon tax and we impose it on any
we're going to spend a lot of money on nothing.
Really? I mean, it just...
Yeah, what's going to happen is you're going to take money away from people in a futile attempt to stop planetary warming, which itself is modest. You think the Chinese and the Indians are going to put on a carbon tax? And how high does that tax have to be? Seems like Hansen left his calculator out. You know, when gasoline was $4 a gallon, we reduced our consumption about 4%. These guys are saying we have to reduce our emissions of carbon dioxide 80%. Obama wants 80% below 1990 levels 41 years from today. It's impossible. How expensive does gasoline have to be to make you stop using 90% of what you would use?
Okay, well, let me go back to my initial premise here. Am I right in saying that this carbon tax would be based on the bigger the house, the bigger the car you've got, the bigger the emissions, therefore the bigger the tax? But the
bigger your plane ride,
but the other side of the coin is
anything.
They want to then send that money back to individuals. I mean, they want a per capita redistribution of that tax money. No, why are you laughing? Because that's the premise of the tax.
That never happens. It always gets regraded and reprogrammed into something. Everybody knows that. Come on. Nobody can be that naive
but
on
I
this
am right.
issue.
That is the premise of the carbon tax. Tax like crazy and then give it back to individuals who are not polluting. That's it. I mean, it is income redistribution, bottom line.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I guarantee you that if you make a certain amount of money, you're not getting your money back no matter how efficient you are.
Okay, let me leave you with this one thought, a quick comment from you, if you will. All attempts to limit carbon emissions mean some form of coercion or encouragement to change your lifestyle. Forget taxes. There's going to be coercion or some kind of encouragement to change your lifestyle.
Let's just say there's going to be coercion, coercion, and coercion, and leave it at that.
Patrick Michaels, I want to read your book. Please send me a copy. Thanks very much for being with us. We appreciate it. Thank you.